Hi, today we're going to talk about 4 predictions for 2026. AI's impact on the job market. Second, longevity, so the trend of whether we are going to be able to extend our lifespan. Number 3, autonomous vehicles. And number 4, AI video. So I think all of these 4 will really have an impact on people's lives here in 2026. I think what is really important to talk about is how many hours of work can you produce with a well-crafted prompt. So I'm not talking about like a one-line prompt. I'm talking about maybe a prompt that would take you 20 minutes to create for maybe a business report or something you would need to make. So the amount of work that AI could make from that simple prompt has changed from about 1 hour in 2024 to around 5 hours here in the beginning of 2026. And it is predicted by the end of 2026, it could be as high as 20 to 40 hours from one prompt. And this matters, right? Because 1 year ago, if you spent 20 minutes crafting a prompt, then if you got 1 hour's worth of work, then of course, if you had to make a lot of corrections, then maybe you actually didn't become any more efficient using AI than without, right? Because the other parameter would be the error percent. That was up at around 35% in 2024. It's expected that now it's around 10 to 20%, depending on what you're working on. And that could fall to as low as around 5% by the end of 2026. And by the end of 2026, one prompt might be able to generate 20 to 40 hours of work with an error rate of 5. So what does that mean? That means maybe you would use 20 minutes making the prompt, and maybe you would use like 40 minutes to making the corrections for the 5%. But if you can make half a week or even a week's work in 1 hour, imagine how much more valuable that would make you for a company, for example, or if you run your own business. So I think that really matters, and that matters for how AI is going to impact the job market. I think now we will start to see the impact of people who know how to use AI and people who don't. So definitely, I think we'll see more disruption at work. More people will start to lose their jobs. Some people will accelerate faster because they know how to use AI. Some companies will be disrupted because they refuse AI, and others will grow really fast. So I think that is really worth watching. The second pillar of change is longevity. So let's be real. I don't think we'll get like a longevity pill in 2026 that will make us live 5 or 10 years longer. The real bottleneck here at the moment is actually funding. There's not enough money going into actual longevity technology that could make a difference. I mean, if we put the amount of money that we put into the military or that we even put into the COVID vaccine for longevity technology, something would definitely start to happen a lot quicker. And the reason I don't think companies are investing that much in longevity technology is because most people still think it's science fiction. Most people, if asked, still think that they will have more or less the same lifespan as we're used to, so living around 80 years. But now we are seeing more people starting to say, okay, maybe I'll gain 5 to 10 years because of longevity technology. And the people following, for example, Brian Johnson and the Rejuvenation Olympics, they would see that some people have reduced their aging rate by about 50%. So I think this will start to create a lot of belief, and I think that will start to grow more exponentially in 2026. So I think something is going to happen. I think 2026 is the year where investment in longevity technology finally will take off. So you can see it historically. It's been bouncing a bit up and down. So I think now we'll just come into a period of time where we'll see the investment skyrocket. The third pillar is autonomous transport. So actually, the challenge is a little bit the same, right? I think a lot of people are skeptic about autonomous transport, so like taxis, for example, or Teslas with full FSD. And I think it's because they haven't tried it. So I tried a robo-taxi or Waymo for the first time in my life in 2025 together with my family, and we were immediately convinced that this was the future. And I think the more people who actually are going to try it will be convinced, and they will talk to their friends and will see a change in belief here. And more people will be convinced that this is the future. It's not going to be dangerous. It's going to be better. Now, the point is here that right now it's only about 1% of the American population who have even tried a robo-taxi. And if you add Tesla with FSD, it's maybe 1.5%. I believe that 2026 will more than double that number. So we will get up around 3.5% who have tried a robo-taxi or a Tesla with FSD. These people will start convincing other people that this is the future. So I think we'll kind of reach that breaking point where autonomous vehicles will go from science fiction, where people are skeptical on whether it will ever happen, to actually believe it. And so I think we will see, again, more money flowing into this space. We'll see more positivity around it. So definitely, I think 2026 will be a pretty important year for autonomous vehicles. And if we see adoption curves, they've always been like this, right? They have these S-curves of adoption, whether you look at broadband internet or if you look at smartphones, for example. So the S-curve of autonomous driving will not be that steep because it's probably confined to most bigger cities. But I think we will start to see it scaling quickly in 2026. My final pillar of change is AI video, and I think it's important for a number of reasons because it changes the way we see entertainment, right? So right now, to be honest, AI video in terms of long form, anything like longer than 30 seconds is not really worthwhile, right? I don't know if you've seen some of the short films. I mean, they're quite decent. Some of those, the best ones made in 2025. But still, you probably wouldn't spend 20 minutes watching these short films. So I think we can look at two curves. What an amateur would be able to do with a small budget making a short film, and what professional filmmakers would be able to do. So I think we're going to reach a point where what the professionals are able to do in 2026 will be worth watching. I think that changes a lot, right? Suddenly you could do like an AI continuation of a canceled Netflix series, for example, or that book that was never made into a series or film. Those things will start to happen because people can take the chances, because the budgets will be like 10% of making a real short film or series. So that's one thing. The second thing we'll start to see is it will be easier for the amateur to start prompting something worthwhile. So I don't think an amateur could make a short film that would be believable in 2026. But when we come to 2030, I don't think it matters whether you're professional or an amateur. I think everybody would be able to make short films or even long-form movies that would be worth watching with AI. And I think, again, it changes a lot in terms of we'll have creative abundance. Everybody can make their own film, which is kind of cool. But there's also a downside to this. And the downside I'll be looking at is social media combined with AI is already polarizing people further, right? You don't know what to believe anymore. And this can be used for political propaganda. If you want your opposition to say something horrendous, it's quite easy to fake it with AI today. So I think in 2026, if done well, it will be almost impossible to distinguish between the truth and AI fakes, which I think can influence elections. It will definitely be a major issue. So I think the big social media channels, they need to consider this. They need stronger regulation around what they will allow in terms of AI fakes. So both the realism but also the regulation is something I'm going to watch with a lot of interest. So those are my 4 pillars of change. Let me know what you think. What do you think will be the big game changer here in 2026?